I think that's enough warm up, I guess.
All right, no, that's fine. That's
Yeah, I'm
fine.
Pat.
Hey, Patrick, I'm Jeffrey.
We were just talking about per diem and how $35 doesn't get you shit.
Get you nothing.
Yeah, it gets you
Get you
nothing.
nothing.
I mean, if you're staying at a place with like continental breakfast, that's okay.
Yeah, but that comes with the hotel.
Right, yeah. So that you're kind of sneaking in some per diem behind that, you know?
Yeah, because, at that point you're like, extra bacon, but that comes with it.
They don't charge you extra.
No,
No.
no. You can even, like, take some to go. They won't say shit.
You wrap it up in a little napkin. Yeah.
I didn't say a napkin. I was just like, get a cup.
Like bacon sticks.
It's not the worst idea.
What do you got there, bacon? Oh,
I'm just saying, like, you show up to the meeting with, like, a cup full of bacon. You're like, did you, where did you bring this from the hotel? They're just giving it away.
Yeah, it's just giving it away. Put like another cup on top of it, keep it warm.
Oh, the classic. That's the George to go plate.
Oh yeah, where you take one plate and put the other plate on top of it. Yeah,
You stack it so full that you have to put the other plate on
you got
top
to
of
make
it.
it into a fucking burrito sandwich.
Yeah, you're familiar,
Dude, yeah, no, I am familiar. So I was driving around yesterday a little bit. So and the fucking Sonic closed.
Which one?
The one over here. He did. He gone.
The one next to the school?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I want to be shocked, but
I
Sonic
kind of was
sucks. I
until I
mean,
saw it, and then I was like, oh, that makes sense. So, because speaking of place where you're gonna blow all your per diem on fucking fruit drinks,
well, I mean, Sonic they have a model where it's like, how can you get 2,800 calories that you absolutely won't enjoy? And
right,
that's
for thirty
Sonic.
five
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah. You want to take this all in one drink? It's like, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just grind the burger up in there, man. That's fine. So throw some soggy tots on the top.
It's weird because, I know that sort of became their thing, but uh, I do not think they were conceived that way.
What, drinks?
Right.
No, it was supposed to be that whole car hop thing, which
Right.
didn't last. So I mean, COVID was like the last nail in that coffin. But I mean, even before you go to Sonic, you couldn't get people to like roll up to your car. So
Well, that was the concept, right? Was you actually
yeah,
have people on skates.
originally yes,
Yes.
and originally they did, but that was long gone. So, but then they would just call you to the window.
They call you the window, and I know some places still have the little car holes to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't seen
Yeah.
one of those in a long time.
Well, and then they also have a drive up, which is
Which is
kind of
where I would go. Yeah.
right.
I'm not gonna sit here in your parking lot. I'm gonna get stabbed in the neck by some like dude who just spawned from the homeless spawner 2 blocks away.
No, you're right. You're right. Fucking no, the hostile NPCs are a problem. That's
Yeah, entering combat zone.
yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I just got my order.
Like, dude, we're in town.
It's like, wait a
Um,
minute, the background music just
yeah.
dropped.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I mean, it's a place that like conceptually just doesn't like. I think they lost their way.
Yeah, I think so. Um, what else did I see? Mickey D's brought back the snack wrap. Kind of a fan.
I don't know the snack wrap.
It's pretty good. They're really cheap too. They're like $1. So yeah,
Well, they're having to fight for market space,
they
and
kind of
I
are.
understand. You know what? I think that's when they're at their best.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not when we get Szechuan sauce.
it's they've had it too good for too long, Patrick.
Mickey D's.
Yeah.
They are still the king, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at the fast food like rankings, the divisional rankings for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure that Mickey D's is still like number one.
I think for money, yeah, you talk about, Subway having all those locations, and you're right, but
Subway's got the most locations by like almost double. So it's crazy how many locations they have.
I
So
think people have come to understand what Subway is.
yeah,
Like there was a time like in the 80s when Subway kind of felt, you did have that like eat fresh thing, right? Through the '90s and stuff,
Yeah,
and it did kind of have
with
that.
Jared.
Well, I'm not talking about the Jared thing. I'm just talking about the food actually kind of like tasted fresh, and now it's just like Subway, eat.
Right, quickly.
It's yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
grab your bag of chips and 4-day-old chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's like it's nobody's first choice.
Hmm. It's still like it's the franchise of choice in small towns. So we were in
Yeah,
South Colorado,
yeah.
and we went through this tiny ass town, and it fucking had a standalone Subway. It's the first time I think I've seen a standalone like full built Subway in ages.
Wait,
It
just
wasn't
not
it
attached to.
wasn't attached to a gas station or a mini mall or a pawn shop or a tattoo parlor. It was just on its own, like an Arby's.
Arby's.
Well, I
Arby's,
figured out
yeah.
why Arby's actually lives, man. So the reason why Arby's lives is because they need substantially fewer people to run one. So
Yeah, so it means Arby's is kind of like a 24-hour photo booth.
it kind of is,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So, well, I mean, that was always the secret behind Subway. I mean, Subway, if you have a three-man Subway, that's a heavy operation.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, let alone going to the fucking Five Guys where they got a platoon of dudes. You know,
Oh yeah, they got a whole football team. I mean, it's
offense and defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, those that it's like that there. There's a couple of places like that. That's
You know, it's
In
like
and
that.
Outs like that. Chick-fil-A is always like that.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, they've been communicating through like Mormon telepathy uh, for for a while.
It's like, what's that noise?
It's that thing. It's like you think that's tinnitus, but that's actually
No, that's actually the gold
that's
plate
them
speaking
talking.
to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. In the secret box.
Well, and I guess who was it that straightened me out on that? Was it Will that was like, no, no, you're judging this based off of this one. He's like, if you go to the one up north,
It's fucked.
if he says it's a total shit show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I haven't eaten at Chick-fil-A in a little while. It's just not one of my go-to places. So
it's fine, but
it's
there's
great.
rarely any times when I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I'm in the mood to pay like $14 for a chicken sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, man, my fast food choices are really pared down. I'll go to Mickey D's every now and then, especially if I'm up before 10:30.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
so that one's a
yeah.
lock. Taco Bell is cheap. Arby's is surprisingly cheap. I've gone to Arby's a couple times in the last couple of months, just because you can get out of there with two like beef and cheddars, and if you want some fries, so because sometimes I do like the little curly fry. So
All right, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but that's like $15 for all three of those. So Taco Bell's about a $15 run. So for me, I take my daughter to Wendy's. It's like a $30.
Wendy's, I just don't think there's room. I do think I think one of the big three is in for a hurting.
It's Burger King.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's like the zombie franchise, man. It just refuses to die.
well,
So
has it been in trouble for a while or
for like
something?
30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah. But they just have a shitload of locations. I don't know how it really works, man. All I know is that like your gold standard is if you're gonna own one of them, you want to own a Mickey D's. So
yeah,
because that's
yeah,
basically gonna get you on a country club somewhere.
yeah.
So
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want a whole shitload of headache, you own like a couple Burger Kings. So you know, and if you just want to phone it in, you get a Subway. So
I get,
yeah,
I got that. Well, especially like when you're talking about that thing where does this work? And you're right. It's like pick a small place in Mountain, Colorado.
yep.
You'll be the only game in town.
Just got to make sure you can see it from the highway.
Yep.
So yeah, you're good.
And if you're the only game, you can charge more.
You can.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah. It's been so long since I've been to a Subway, man. But I remember when I lived in that little dinky town in like Nebraska, Subway was at least a 3 day a week thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
because it's like, well, it's
Yeah.
fucking close and it's open at 2 a.m. Got it. So
I will not be in line for that long. I know
No.
how. I have no pretense. I know how agonizingly mid this place is.
Very mid.
Yes.
Although they do have a couple things that are just kind of go-tos that are pretty good. So,
Well, you're talking to the guy that like if you put your phone in front of me and said like, "Hey Jeffrey, go ahead and order yourself 2 sandwiches off of here. I'll have them brought to the house."
mhm.
Right? I would have one 12-inch meatball and one 12-inch tuna
Oh, the tuna?
brought to this house,
Yeah.
even though I know that those things are barely food. But it's no, but that flavor is just synonymous with that place.
Yeah.
Like you either like it's
I think it was always a cold cut combo, man. I just like that.
oh no
Yeah.
you're not going to go wrong with that. But I mean the fact is if I'm going to go for an actual like luncheon meat sandwich,
Yeah. I'm
right?
gonna go to Jersey
I
Mike's.
got a Jersey Mike's right
Yeah,
there, and
exactly.
they kick their ass like ten
They
times
do.
out of 10.
They do.
But like if you get a meatball sandwich from there, right?
From Jersey Mike's, I don't think I've ever had one.
Well, they make them and they're fine, and they're like the problem is they're like good. I don't
Oh,
want like good meatballs. I
no,
want
man.
that. I
I
want
want the
that.
frozen ones, you know. Yeah.
There's something to like you and I have talked about it is like you can go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant and get the macaroni and cheese, and then blind taste test it with the Blue Box Craft.
You the blue box is gonna win.
It is.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna win.
is.
It's like, wow, this other one's really gooey and rich.
Yeah, no, it tastes like actual cheese. I don't want that. This is bad. The
Right,
texture
yeah,
is
exactly. I want cheese syrup on mine.
exactly. It's like this texture is like thick. It feels expensive. I don't want that.
It feels expensive.
So what I asked for is wet noodles,
Right, wet.
wet and fat noodles. That's what I'm looking for. This doesn't have a healthy shade of orange
Right, yeah,
that I'm looking
exactly.
for.
Yeah. And what are these ridges in my macaroni? What the fuck is it? Yeah.
Did you all like crumble some shit on here?
Yeah.
Because
What
I
are these
feel crumble.
crunchies on the top,
Yeah, what
man?
is this?
What
Is
is
this
this?
fucking texture? Did
Did
you
you burn
texture?
it? Did you burn it?
Yeah, that's where me and that tuna and that meatball sandwich are is like that's their thing. Um, it's that same thing. It's like, do you want a hamburger or do you want to go to McDonald's? Right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And these are two different things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know though, man. I'm a huge fan of the double or the two cheeseburger meal.
Oh yeah. No,
There's just
that's
something about their cheese. There's just a plain like their like $1.19 cheeseburger that's just awesome.
it's there.
So yeah,
It works. This like you strip it down to its base components, it still tastes good. It doesn't. You're not sitting here saying that you spent $8.99 on this shit either, and that's part of it.
that is part
Yeah,
of it. Yeah.
that is part of it. I would say, like, if you're, that's, I mean, it's the same thing. Do you want chicken or do you want McNuggets? Well, these are not the same thing.
They're not the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
No, nuggies are kind of their own species. So they probably are their own species.
They
So,
are. There's
smaller and more legs.
those beetles that wrestle.
You just pop the lid off one of them. It's a chicken. You make him out of scarab.
I like that. I like the concept of eating like fried sand bugs.
Right. They're always white meat, man.
what, what was so fucked up about the dark meat that they were like, nah, people are complaining about this.
Well, it's actually true. I mean, I can't remember if it was one of those fucking the chicken,
Yeah, yeah,
thing or like
yeah,
documentaries back in the day or something like that. But yeah, they actually like so it's basically like chicken bologna that they make those out
yeah,
of. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but then they like bleach it, so because little kids are like, ew.
I get it, dude. I have no. I came to peace a long time ago. It's like I had to make some choices. I'm like, well, I'd never eat a hot dog again,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Or am I going to sit there and sweat over every little thing that goes into these things?
And no,
Because
I'll eat the hot dog.
hot dogs are it. You know,
Yeah.
I know how these things are made. I also
Yeah.
know it's it was hot dogs and ham. Ham was the one that got to me. Where the first time somebody said, they said, "What fucking part of the animal do you think that is?"
Yeah.
It's like, what part of the animal comes out just like that?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't
Oh
know.
no.
It's like it's just like round like this.
Yeah.
So he's like, and that's a part of the animal, and you think it's just shaped like that? I'm like, how is it made? It's like, my friend.
Yeah, there's a difference between ham and pork. So yeah,
Right, right.
and bacon for some magic animal.
Well, bacon's different.
Bacon
Bacon
is different.
is
It's belly. It's pork
it
belly.
is belly. I
Oh
don't know if they have a way to basically, Pringles, those.
yeah, turn them into bacon strips. Yeah,
I don't know if somebody's selling a version that's like that. Um, but it could be.
it
I don't
could
know.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
Yeah, I forgot.
well, it's got to come
Yeah.
from some part because it's got the bone in.
What, the bacon?
No, the ham, a ham hock. I thought that was the butt of the pig.
Well, you're talking about the ham steak. I'm talking about ham like lunch meat. Like if you buy
Oh
a,
no, yeah,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no, no, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's different. So
No, no, the pig has bones. This is absolutely true. They're not.
right,
They're not. What kind of weird invertebrate?
right, exactly. They have like scraped fucking blue ranch and blue cheese and ranch in their orifices. Yeah,
Like they kind of walk, but it's more of just kind of like a, you know,
yeah.
like gummy bears. Yeah, like I forget. So what were you up to on Sunday?
Oh, we took a train trip. So yeah,
That's right. How'd that
it
go?
was fun. It was fun.
Where did you go?
Way down to Encinitas. So, which is
I don't
right
know
on,
where
it's
Antonino
right
is.
on the New Mexico border, south of Alamosa. So we went into a Mexican restaurant in Alamosa, and it was dynamite. So,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, just kicked the hell out of just about any place I've been to in the last, like, I'd say 4 or 5 years.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was really good. So, but we were only there one night, so we didn't really explore around. I mean, there's not much to see down there. So it's like farm country.
All right. So what's the appeal down there?
The
What's
big
the
one is the sand dunes. So, but Um, I've been there before, and it's dirt.
a lot of it?
It's a lot of it,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but if you don't like, cleaning out between your toes for the next 4 days, then you can skip that one.
There's a charm to it, I guess.
There's a charm to it. I mean, like when I was a kid, we took our sleds down there with the Boy Scout troop. We used to sled down them.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, you're picking sand out of your butthole for like 4 days. So,
Would you and your daughter do that?
no,
She's not into that.
no.
Doesn't seem like your wife is either.
No, I
Yeah.
mean she like see him and like, oh neat, all right, let's get back in the car,
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah,
That kind of reminds me of that time you mentioned that your dad, um, he went belly boarding,
Mhm.
and he was just like full of delight.
Oh, he loves that
You
shit.
know,
My
and so I
dad,
guess if yeah, yeah.
my dad had a weird affinity for the beach that I do not share. So I don't know what it is, but I do not share his love for coastal areas.
I think there's something to be said about if you grew up near it, there's just nothing like it.
Possibly, but he did move out here by choice. So
Well, you can have more than one reason to do things.
yeah, that's true.
And you can say like, I really like this, but I like these other things more.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No, but he used to belly surf. So um, yeah.
I don't have anything against it. I think the ocean is kind of neat, but I don't know. There's just something about it that has always felt kind of filthy.
It is pretty filthy.
Just
So I don't know, man. I've been to quite a few different beaches, and like some of them are really nice, where it's just like, oh, this is like idyllic, But then, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I do not have any kind of like love for the sea and all its creatures. So
yeah, but it's weird that you're like that because you wanted to go sailing so much.
well, I don't mind boats, so that's fine. I don't plan on getting in the water though if I'm on a boat.
There's a lot of things that involve water if you're on a boat, though.
I get that. Yeah, I'm not saying that there needs to be consistency here.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
I'm
You're
not
right.
planting my flag
No,
on
you're
that
fine.
mountain.
I'm kind of getting that more and more. Um, just sort of, it's at this point I'm sort of like admitting these things where, somebody can say it's like, well, this thing is exactly like this, and so you're right. And then you're just gonna have to accept that I
Yeah, I
like
just
this one at a
yeah,
time.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but
Yeah. I've made my decision.
and you can call me this. That's fine because you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, I do have some. I would argue that I do have some ideological constants, certain things that have remained consistent over time, or if I've been argued into another point, I'm certainly willing to make adjustments to that. But there are certain things where it's like, no, I don't like these are bad cinnamon rolls. They are made out of 100% the same thing, but if they come from here instead of here,
They suck.
these are awful.
Yeah.
You're not welcome
Garbage.
to my house anymore.
Garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking trash. Yeah,
It's trash and you're trash.
absolutely. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's things that I'm willing to change my mind on, but then
Yeah,
there's other things where it's just like, I don't want to go through that again. You know? It's like I don't really have a reason to change my position on X, whatever it is, at this point in time. And I don't really have the care either. A lot of these things.
well, I guess that's a question. Have you been? What's the last thing that you've been challenged on?
Thoroughly challenged on?
Yeah, that anybody of merit has challenged you on, not in a like dual kind of way, but made you actually sort of like
Like rethink shit?
rethink, yeah, or reframe something that you at least held sacrosanct for a point.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Because most of those things for me have been toggled from firm to mutable, and so I feel like they sort
Yeah.
of it's kind of like I think my positions are a little bit more like trench warfare now. They get moved a little bit each way.
Yeah. You dig some new lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
At nighttime while the enemy's not watching.
Play still
Get a
play
little
soccer on
closer.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you poke a helmet on a stick up every now and then to see. It's like I don't think there's any Germans left. I think we can move. You know.
I do. I mean, I will say this. I do remember. So this goes back to this goes back to an elementary school memory, and I remember of all people, um, why she was talking about this or why she felt that she needed to make it anyone's business. Is I remember that Mrs. Darpino was talking about illegal immigration.
Wow.
Yes. And I do not remember what her imperative was, but she was making the point about the quote unquote doing things that other Americans won't do, right? Which,
What does that mean?
well, that's the thing where it's the that whole perspective of we shouldn't want these people removed because they do things that
Oh,
Americans
you mean the
refuse.
jobs? Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, but that's not as true as people think it is.
You
So,
know what? And that's actually the in hindsight, that is the worst possible argument that I think I've ever heard in my life. You know why?
I, I don't know if I put it the worst, but sure. Hit me.
For illegal immigration or for the point of because Americans won't do it. Well, the fact is, the conditions won't improve unless people refuse to do it.
Right, but that's an instrumentalist kind of view towards it. So, I don't know, man. I always thought the worst one was the cultural assimilation because that one's just patently false.
What's this? What's
Well, the
this
whole
do?
idea, well, you got to learn the language and you got to do this, blah, 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 and all this stuff and try really hard to become American. But then every time that you see someone come from overseas and then you look at their kids, that's exactly what happens
Oh, they do.
every single
Right,
time. Yeah,
right,
exactly. And
right.
so I always thought that was really stupid. I mean, I guess well, it's supposed to change, Well, change to what? I mean, pay people more? Is that the argument here? So is that where we're going with that? You
Well,
know,
in
I mean,
theory, it's going to be whatever the conditions that are negative are supposed to be lessened and the pay increased.
well, yeah, but
Or
that just means you're paying more for your lettuce, man. So,
you pay
okay.
more for your lettuce.
Well, I've been making an argument for three
Yeah.
years now. So I was like, hey, the money at least goes to people who live in the United States. Cool. So, and like that's the other thing is this whole idea that every fucking farm worker and hotel cleaning lady is an immigrant. It's not true. It's not even
Oh
close.
no,
It's not even
no,
close to
no.
true. Now you can find towns where that's true. So,
I'm sure you can.
yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely true. And I would argue that a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that they know each other.
Well, possibly, or yeah. I mean, we've all known shady employers who are just like, yeah, okay, whatever, So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, but and a lot of kitchens out there and stuff like that, especially the traveling ones.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, fine. But the whole idea that yeah, those are jobs that Americans don't want to pick radishes. It's like, yeah, that's probably true. Like maybe we should import those instead, hey? You know.
Well, all right. So I would. There's a couple of counterpoints that I can make to that. Is all right. Um, if it's a difficult job, right, and it is labor intensive, then yeah, then the labor has to change. Or, and this is the other thing, then you need to make a more effective radish picking device,
Yeah, that's fine too.
which is a solution.
Yeah.
That's totally a solution,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But the suggestion that the American economy relies upon this subclass to do things that are still being done for lower wages
Yeah.
is just saying that you're okay with these people doing these jobs, which you've already decried as beneath you,
Yeah.
right? But you're saying that they're okay for somebody else, right? If they're not okay for
Yeah, no, I
you,
get
yeah,
the
yeah,
argument.
yeah,
I get
yeah.
the argument,
That's
man.
the
Yeah, I just I don't think it has any merit behind it.
oh,
So,
that's
you
yeah,
know,
I agree.
like for maybe slightly different reasons. The fact that it's easily falsifiable, being one, and the other one
That's
being
one. Yeah,
yeah, and the other one
yeah.
being like, hey, like okay, here I'll fix this in a heartbeat. Everybody has to do e-verify. You're no longer allowed to take cash for work. Done. Over.
You know, maybe there's another way around it. Maybe there's another way where you do that, but you can still take cash.
Why would you need to if you're legit?
I have no idea.
Yeah, see,
Just because I can't think of it, though, doesn't mean that there may not be a reason.
the only reason why to do it would be tax evasion or avoiding the law in some respect or another. Why the hell else would you need cash? If you need cash, you go to an ATM. So,
What I don't know is if it's difficult to get a bank account. Um, I can't say. I haven't applied for one
if
in
you're legal,
right.
you can get one online in like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's no longer it's like, oh, we don't want you to open a bank account with us because, we don't know anything about you. They don't give a fuck about your credit. So for a bank account, I mean, there's no interest payments on bank accounts anymore. So fuck it. It's like, okay, we'll give you your $5 minimum balance. Yay. Have at it. But yeah, I don't know how people survive without a bank account. So
Cash.
I get that, man. But I mean, okay. So got it. Yeah,
Oh no, no, no! I'm not fighting you.
I know.
No, I agree. And again, that this doesn't preclude that there may be something else that I'm thinking of, but maybe there, but I can't think of it. But that is the kind of argument they will make. They will say that these communities cannot get bank accounts, ergo they need to be paid in cash. That's not really my problem.
That's not true either.
Um,
So can't get a bank account if you're illegal. Got it. Okay. Even if you are, you can. So, you don't need that much documentation to open a bank account. So, what are you going to do? Steal money that's not there? So,
Got me.
Yeah. So
You got me. No, it does strike me as odd. That's like, why do I remember that coming from my music teacher?
it is kind of weird.
But that's sort of it. Because I can remember a number of different political opinions peppered into my elementary education.
I can't. So in your elementary education,
Yes.
I don't think I really ran into that until probably like seventh or eighth grade. So, but that was like in civics and stuff like that.
Well,
And then
civics
you get a
could
little
be
bit
an
more in high
exploration of that.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like I didn't get real thick. It didn't get real thick for me until I got to college. So, that's the first place that I went to where I definitely had professors that had over political leanings and would insert it into just about every fucking discussion.
No, this shoehorn's not big enough. I need a bigger one. I
Exactly,
know.
yeah.
I know.
So, but I
I know.
don't remember that much going on in elementary school. Maybe I was just oblivious to it. That's probably it. I didn't really get interested in politics until after my dad came back from the war. So, because that was the first election that I remember paying attention to was Bill Clinton in '92. So,
Fair enough. I do remember having to like color the electoral map
oh really?
in junior high. That was one of the assignments. We were assigned to watch the debates.
Yeah, I don't think I was in civics during that, but I think
Oh, this wasn't civics. This was Ms. Bushnell's
she did have us do that.
social studies class.
Yeah.
And I say that um, I call it Ms. Bushnell's social studies class in the same way that like Marie Callender's makes like pot pies.
Right.
It's just the name of who,
This is Sarah Lee class.
because she was absolutely not in attendance for these events. So
No, no. Well, she would have been during the fall, so she was always gone in the spring. So when we had Mrs. Gallegos for 2 months of the year. Hey man, she was like senior social studies teacher in the fucking system. So
he was, but man, she caught shit for that. My fucking uh, after my class ruined it. Yeah, after they fucking dismantled the program
oh
after my class
Compass.
went through it.
Yeah.
Yes, and her name was at the top of that problem.
Yeah, but like they've done so many GT programs like that over the years that
Oh,
have
sure. Yeah.
completely come apart after a couple years because it's 100% dependent upon the people who are teaching it.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
just rotate
yeah.
in and out like crazy. So, I mean, I've seen bunches of them just, oh, this is great. I was like, I've seen that before. It's like I know what you guys. Oh, you're doing the cohort model. Cool. Very original. It's like putting four wheels on a fucking car. You think outside the box and only do three, huh?
Dude, I know it's that black and white footage of all those fucking like prototype helicopters.
Like the bouncy ones.
Like this will do it.
This will do it. It's got to flap like a bird.
And look, obviously, I mean, here's the thing: you and I both know that the only way to improve is to try.
Sure.
But uh, I think a lot of that too is going to be what things do you basically pin and attribute to this when you have successes or failures of it, and you apply them to these factors,
Yeah.
right? Which is extremely difficult.
Oh, it's almost impossible,
Yeah.
man. And it's really difficult to measure, uh, because like like a lot of things. So what predicts this? So if you teach a seventh grade class one year and then you teach
Yes.
a seventh grade class the next year,
Yes.
what's the biggest predictor of the outcome for the second seventh grade class?
The one that I just taught, or
No,
the
no,
one
no.
that's coming in?
The one that's coming in.
The best predictor?
The best predictor of what their grades are going to be.
Well, their IQ score.
No. Not even close. It's how well the previous class did. So, yeah, every single time.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Every
You're
single
meant all
time.
right. See, the weird thing is those two things should be the same, but they're not.
They're not.
Because yeah, okay. So if you're going by the class, then I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But uh, if you look at the actual individual, the greatest predictor of academic success.
Yeah, but nobody looks at that, because there's so many inputs that go into individual success that a student brings. Like the number one predictor is not actually IQ score. There are two things that are like this. This is almost like rock solid in almost all the education led out there. So top two predictors.
Does one have to do with like family income, status, social status?
No, it
Okay,
doesn't have to do with family though.
an intact family, like in terms of
No,
okay, being white.
no. You think, but no.
Well, see, I can show you other stuff that says like the people on this side of the chart.
That's because
I
you
can predict their
That's because you're pegging them against Asians. So whenever you actually take a look at a group and
yeah,
you see one that's
yeah,
deficit, you have to take a look at the highest scoring
that's
group.
correct.
That's the one that you're pegging it against.
Yes.
So there you go.
Okay.
So yeah, that happens whenever you do any kind of like fucking racial shit, which is why it's garbage. So that's just the math. Two things clearly observable. Years of education attained by the mother is one of them.
Okay.
Almost
Got it.
direct one for one relationship.
Hmm.
So almost direct.
What's the other?
How many books the child has in the household at age 5? So,
See, okay, now that was I was putting that into the because I was going into that where the you're supposed to be able to go by a social economic status to see how many words that a child knows by the age of 5 as well.
yeah, they're probably measuring the
And
same construct. So we just don't know exactly what it is. But like most people, they'll kind of look at that and they'll say, well, okay, so that's how involved the family is in the child's education before they actually hit the public school system. So
whether
that's
directly
the
or
idea.
indirectly,
Yeah.
right? Right.
And so that's why they've always said that, hey, if you want to go around, if you want to fix every fucked up neighborhood school in the entire United States, you need to go down to, early childhood education and make sure they know three things: shapes, numbers, and letters. So,
Stuff that's going to be on the IQ test.
well, okay, so, but even the IQ test isn't necessarily predictive until you start hitting your adult age. So, you're not doing that when you're talking about like fucking fourth graders. So,
Oh no, no, I understand that, but that's the kind of stuff. Those specific things
they are.
are the
Yeah.
things that show up on that test.
Well, and that's because they measure three separate concepts. One of them is just spatial learning, that's your shapes. The other one, knowing your numbers and how to count. So,
Pattern recognition, yes.
correct. Yeah. So, pattern recognition and also the ability to do a basic arithmetic early on.
How much do you buy into the additional intelligences?
So like I actually teach some of these.
Yeah,
So I'm going to tell you that some of them are interesting. They're very difficult to actually prove. So like emotional intelligence has been around for about 25 years now.
right.
The guy who invented it, Daniel Goleman, he's still around. He still teaches. So they've been refining it for years. They know that they're measuring something, but they're not sure exactly what they're measuring with that. So because you can go and you can take a look at like certain patterns of success within people is distinctly linked to that. Your ability to actually be able to work a room and interface with other people effectively is absolutely a top tier S tier skill. So that's linked to that somehow, but nobody really knows how. So that's one. Then of course you've got so that one's probably the one that's been explored the most, I'd say, since your basic ones.
Yeah,
But there's a ton of other ones like music literacy and
kinesthetics.
kinesthetics and there's a bunch of them now, man.
There's like
Uh,
9 that I can recall, but I can't tell you what they are.
well, and basically what
Yeah.
they've done is they basically looked at something as like, well, I'm smart and I like X, and so let me came up with an intelligence that's related to
I
X.
feel like I wanted to ask you that because it really does feel like it was.
It really is kind of that thing, but there are some observable ones that like math skills are definitely an S tier skill. So we can
Right.
no,
No, you're
we
not
can
wrong.
just demonstrate that across the board.
Yeah.
It's almost patently obvious. Okay, but you can and linguistic skills are up there too. So, if you have a kid who knows three fucking languages, he's going to do really well in school. So, regardless of where he learned those languages, so there are some things in there that are like that, but some of the other ones are, they're a little bit more sketch. And of course, that's just, educational researchers pushing, like, oh, I want tenure, and so let me come up with a new theory.
No, yeah.
So, and then unfortunately, like the problem with education is that stuff leaks. There's like a direct pipeline, that goes from the bullshit that gets produced within educational lit directly to like fucking superintendents. So,
Well,
and
all right.
people say that it has something to do with the federal government. That's not true. Okay, it is like
They don't make that call.
they don't make that
No,
call.
they don't.
No, these
They
guys
don't.
go around and they huckster, with they
They
pull up in
absolutely do. Yeah.
their snake oil, like fucking wagon, and say, oh, your test score sucks, sir.
Well,
Let's talk about music literacy. So,
so, you know how there's this circuit in Texas where like all the patent lawsuits go through.
I
Right.
don't know if that's really true
I
anymore.
believe they've tried to break that up a
I
little
think
bit
they
because for
have.
like 25 years
Yeah,
it was a huge
dude.
problem.
Even
But
NPR did a huge story on that, like 20 years, like 15 years ago. And I think that kind of scattered them a little bit, but
I think they had
I
to
know the
because
concept.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in that same token, like I think that there's like 25 school districts, maybe 50 school districts around the country where I feel like they're being used for these
They
programs.
totally do.
Where it's, yeah, you go ahead and you have an idea, you implement it in the shittiest place
Yeah.
in Mississippi, right?
Well, usually like New Orleans, but yeah.
Well, Chicago's another big one. There's a couple of
Chicago's also
spots
a big
in
one.
Chicago that they use. But yeah, there's a couple of places where they try this, and they'll take these dog shit results,
Oh yeah.
show this over the year, then go ahead and make a presentation over how this changed it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they'll sell.
And they'll go huck it somewhere else. Yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, famously, they did that in New York with a couple like really bad schools where they turned them into charter schools with a lottery-based system, and
That was
almost did almost a Montessori type curriculum with
yeah,
them,
yeah,
and it just
yeah.
had bananas results, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah!" And so
This
they
is the future. Yeah,
started
yeah.
doing it in a lot of other places. Fucking failed, universally failed elsewhere. And the reason for that is because the reason why I was working on these one or two places because you have one or two people who are driving that, and if they're not actually part of that process,
Right,
where you have to hand it
right.
off to a whole bunch of teachers who are like, "Fuck this! I've seen this before." So 3 more years till retirement.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's just it. I mean, like most education reform is actually pretty easy. And if you see the places where it's been done effectively, it all has to do with teacher autonomy. So you turn around, you tell your teachers, hey guys, you guys are the area experts. You know what's going on in your classrooms and with your students. What kind of tools do you need in order to be successful? So, and then you'll start seeing results. It takes 5 years.
Yeah,
It takes
yeah.
administration that's not turning over every fucking year. So, which is the problem.
Yeah, and that also means that you have to also weed out the ones who aren't doing a good job either. But that means that you have to pay attention to it.
You
Um,
do, but at the same point in time, a lot of those people self-select out of those areas. So
they
no,
do.
no teacher likes to be known as the shittiest teacher in the building. So
I would agree.
yeah,
Yeah. But I also think that a lot of those people would never think of themselves as the shittiest teacher in the building.
yeah, it's possible you can find a few here and there, but like 9 times out of 10, when you get a school that's kind of where like half the faculty is rowing in one direction, the other half will start rowing in that direction too.
No,
So
I can see that.
yeah,
I can definitely see that. I can also see like there's the just the other component of it is that you're just having a bad time. Because I mean
yeah, sure.
um if you're like that, then you may voluntarily leave. And I get that.
Most people do
Yeah.
opt out of bad schools, so
Yeah.
including every last fucker who ever taught for TFA. So
Is that still a thing?
I hope
Has
not.
it been
I bet you it is, though.
Say, is
So,
that,
I bet you it is.
you
So,
know what? I'll bet you it's not. I'll bet you it's rebranded as something else.
yeah,
I bet you it is. I bet you it is. It is like the fucking Omaha steaks of
it's
it's
not
so
Trump steak.
it's so
Yeah.
it is. It's the multi-level marketing uh named system or whatever now.
Well, I
It's got a new
guarantee you
name.
they got
Yeah.
defunded. So, I don't
Well,
know.
just quick, were they getting results?
No. So TFA would actually. So what it was, it was an easy way to get people to volunteer to work in really shit-tacular schools for like 2 or 3 years. But you're talking about people who come with pedigree degrees.
Yes.
They're not going to stick around. That's just all they're doing is padding their resume. And the few instances where you can find people who stuck around with it, okay, fine, you found some true believers, cool. I mean, the school system needs those too. But that wasn't the vast majority of
Maybe
these
because some of
people.
them were there because they had the promise of do this for long enough, we'll pay off all your debt.
Yeah, but that never panned out. So
I didn't say it would,
yeah,
but
that's
I'm
that.
just saying that a lot of the people
Well,
I knew that did that
and the other,
had that promise
well,
dangled in them.
TFA is a little bit different because TFA, most of their people that went in through that program came from schools where you're not graduating with any fucking debt. So,
There, okay, there is that too.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
if you go to Harvard and you come out of that motherfucker with debt, you did something wrong. So,
That's a way to take. I mean, all right. So, I mean, I can easily see you going into there and racking up debt, and that's fine. Um,
it's really hard to do, man, because either you show up with the cash in hand,
right.
you're a legacy baby. They charge you, you
They
know,
don't know that.
they
That's
totally
yeah, yeah,
charge you,
yeah.
and you're expected to pay your bill in full, so to speak. But if you come from like this neighborhood and go to Harvard, you're going for free. So it is that simple. If you come from a middle class household, meaning that your household makes less than $250,000 a year, you're not going to pay a cent to go to Harvard. So, and it's been like that for 15 years. So, and a lot of the top tier schools are like that, man. So they actually do dish out little chunks of their, endowments every single year to actually cover tuition. But it's basically left pocket to right pocket. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
And so, it's a no cost solution. And then they can turn around and say, oh, yeah, we're providing opportunities for people in economically distressed areas of the country, which is going to be the next big thing with them since they're not doing racial-based admissions anymore.
Right.
So you're going to start seeing them fucking carpet bombing, poor ass communities out there looking for really good candidates, and they're going to find them. So because quite honestly, you don't have to be that fucking smart to go to Harvard. So
No,
no, you
no, you
don't.
don't.
It's your top tier state schools that are going to start getting picky. So
I mean, here's the thing: you have to have results to get in there,
you do.
right? There's no two ways around it. Whether or not we define that as smart is that's the subjective part.
Right.
And we can argue that those two things are not congruent, but
Oh,
I will argue that there is some crossover for sure
oh, I'm sure.
in terms of if you have the wherewithal and the dedication to basically make sure that your academic record is spotless, um, whether that's under threat of
Yeah, but even those
whatever.
schools, you take all of them together, you take all the Ivy Leagues together and add them up, they probably admit fewer people a year than fucking Michigan does.
Right.
Okay, so well, maybe not quite,
Well, probably more than that, but not by a lot.
not by a lot. I would
Yeah.
say that you're probably looking at maybe 100 to 150,000 seats a year. Okay, that actually get placed in those top 10 schools, something like
Top
that.
10. Okay.
Or whatever we want to call the Ivy League. So you throw Stanford in there, too,
Right.
whatever. Okay, So, I mean, naturally, okay, if you're going to go after students, all right, and if you get your pick of the litter, you're going to skim off the top. And so,
Yeah.
even if you have, what, say like a million grads, there's probably more than that, a million, high school grads in the United States every year. There's got to be more than that. I have no idea what it would be. So,
It's a good question.
it's a lot.
It's a
So,
lot,
it's a
but I
lot.
don't.
But even if you have a million, you're talking about less than 5 to 6% actually get into those schools, okay, that
Right.
makes sense, you know. And you're not even talking about like we're just talking undergrads too. So, you know, I don't know, man. So I'm like one of the things that I have changed my mind on a little bit, especially after going through all my training. And it's like the school system ain't as fucking broke as people think it is. And so it actually works pretty damn good. So
I agree. I mean, I think it has problems.
yeah, it clearly has problems. It's like rust on an ocean liner. You know, it ain't sinking, buddy. Yeah,
It's not.
it just needs some
Um,
paint. It's a TLC.
I mean, there are things that I could look at and say I'd probably need to study it more.
Yeah,
Um, there are things that seem like obvious problems, and I mean, there are things that all right. There are things that are problems and things that I would also label as concerns. Right? There are
sure.
other things that I see that are going to be trouble, and we don't know how to deal with it yet.
Like
Um,
what?
Evidently, like ChatGPT is a scourge in education right now,
Yeah,
younger education in particular.
I believe that. I don't think that that's not something that's going to shake the foundation of the very system. It means that a lot of teachers are going to have to adapt their methods. So
Well, that's sort of that is the conundrum, and that is
that
the
will happen one retirement at a
there you go.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you, I
because
can
they'll
just
have
look
a
at my colleagues right
yeah,
now, and I can see a few of them like, "Fuck this! I got 3 years left." It's like, yeah, okay, buddy.
totally understand.
Meanwhile, in my
Um,
class, I'm trying to figure out how to fucking use it. So, you know,
well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, because you and we both understand the tech,
yeah,
right? And
it's
this is
fascinating tech. I love it.
it's
So,
fascinating, but we know what we know the capabilities. We also know the limitations. We also know that there is going to be okay. The presentation or the appearance of thought will never be thought. We know that it can't do that, right? We know that
yeah,
that's something that, look, as this was explained to me the other day by somebody that worked in it, uh, as I said, there's like the fundamentals of this, the design of this starts in the 60s.
mhm.
It's like, okay, okay. And it's changed, it's adapted, it's grown. It has elements of quote unquote learning, but even that learning is set to parameters and the way that it learns.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of that is just simply about prioritization, right?
Yeah,
So in the same way, because I mean, in a lot of ways, you say like, all right, well, how is that any different than human perception? I'm like, that's a good point. We can discuss about this at length because you'd say like, all right, so if I if I go ahead and if I ask the AI, I say I ask it a question where it has to make a decision about something, it's going to go ahead and immediately start looking at sources.
yeah,
Well, how does it determine what's a good source versus a bad source? How does it weigh these things? And so it has internal weights to these things that are being adjusted,
yeah,
et
yeah, yeah.
cetera, et cetera. It'll learn from these things. It'll learn based off of your inputs,
Yep.
right? And tailor those things until it gets an answer that makes you happy. It doesn't mean that it's the right answer, but it's what makes you happy.
Which is a judgment call.
Right.
Yeah, which is what we should be teaching people.
Which is interesting because when I break it down, I say, like, how is that any different than, human judgment? I'm like, but it is. Oddly enough,
Yeah,
but
it
it
is.
is.
It is
Right?
because, like, first and foremost, you're making a final judgment. So, and then the next other thing that's a little bit different about it is that you're still leaving yourself a lot of room for error. So, and it's that room for error where you learn shit.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so like what I'm finding just using, and I'm not paying for super rock, whatever it is yet, but I think I might. So even though it's like $30 a month, so I might pay for that. I might get my school.
Well, if you can get your school to pay for it, absolutely get them to pay for it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So because like I've been using it a lot to do like just covering a shitload of ground very quickly.
Yes.
So, it's almost like flight mode in Minecraft. Yeah.
Well,
It's like get me to a better place way faster than it would take me on my own. It's like, no, here's where I want to build my fort. So, because I've scoped everything else around this, and this is where I want to do this, kind of thing. And then, so it's made me ridiculously more efficient.
Well, I mean, that's part of it.
Now what I do,
It's
but
yeah,
I'm still exercising my own judgment. And so I think if I can find a way to teach my students that, so particularly if I have them, it's like, all right, so here, let me give you a couple prompts. I want you to go play with, whatever AI of your choice.
yeah,
Go fiddle around with this a little bit and come up with a solution to this problem for me. All right, and then kind of in your own words, justify your answer. Okay, tell me why this feels right for you. That's not something you can throw in the fucking machine because it's easier just to do it on your own because it's already there, man. You don't
right,
have to research it,
right.
And so, but then the more and then what I've noticed is the more that I do that by playing with it, the more confident I get in making my own judgments. But the more quickly I'll be able to judge mine or question mine and say, okay, no, that's fucking wrong because X, Y, Z.
Right.
All right. And it pointed this out to me, which is great. All right. So, okay, I'm not going to go with that because that's wrong, kind of thing. And so I think that's kind of the essence of like, it might be the kind of the sweet spot in the future of like where, we want students to be with that thing. It's like, no, it's tool, learn to use it, but, you're going to bang your fingers a couple times on it. It's cool.
Well, you are, and I mean, this is so. Okay, so you've been experimenting with this a lot here too. I've been too, right? Um, and when it comes out, okay, so the thing that it saves you just like countless hours, and I can't even tell you this, right? Like, this is the thing where who said it? It was somebody was saying this the other day, but they were talking about like authoritarian governments. They were like, they're powerful until they're not,
Yeah.
right? You don't know when it's going to happen, but like as soon as like one crack opens,
Oh,
it's like
it's done.
15 minutes and then it's done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But in the same way, there's that component of like, why would I ever just directly ask Google a question again, right? And that's sort of the thing here is the thing that used to waste so much time
Yeah,
was opening 50 different things
yeah,
when you're researching something,
yeah, yeah,
and it does that.
yeah. No, it does it for you and it
Right,
collates it for you, man,
right,
which is awesome.
right. And
So,
depending on your parameters, it'll give you the judgment parameters that you want if you don't just want a generalized answer. If you want it to give you here's this what I saw, but it's kind of shaky. Here's this that I saw. This seems to be more foundational. It's backed up by these things that you said to back them up in. You also said never ask anything of Reddit. I did not. Right. And so
it's on the book ban list. Yeah.
no. That's fine. That's fine. But that's the thing is, and this is where they work the kinks out of it. This is how you're getting the like, yeah, glue the cheese to your pizza kind of thing. It's like, yes, obviously this is an oversight,
Obviously, this is an
right? And
oversight.
I understand exactly how that happens.
Right,
You didn't have this weighted. You said that
right,
it's okay to trust Reddit for a fucking
right,
recipe,
right, right,
right?
right. Yeah,
Um, and that's sort of the thing. That's the trick, and that's where it is getting more
it's
sophisticated.
getting, yeah, it's getting
And
there.
like you said, a lot of that has to do with how do you enter your query. It'll do what you ask it.
It will. It'll do exactly. It's a machine. It'll do exactly what you tell it to do. So,
To a point.
to a point. I mean, there are certain things where it's got some hard bumpers on it still. So, but I was just dinking around with it the other day, just pulling data on certain things because I was curious. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so let me see if I can actually pull like economic data on this motherfucker. And it told me, well, you could do it by doing this. I was like, well, can you do that for me?
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah. It was like, I was like, yeah, there we go. So I got to ask you to do
Right. Right. Right.
that. So, and I was like, perfect. I was like, can you put this in a table for me? I was like, yes. I was like, can you put this in rows and that in columns? It was like, yes.
Let's just ask me. I'll do it all at once. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's it. You gotta
Yeah.
experiment with it a little bit
Yeah.
to kind of see what it's capable of, with the idea that it was actually pulling monthly data on this stock that I was looking at. I was like, that's really, really cool. So, and I was like, thank you. Because normally that data would cost me a shitload of money.
How did that have access to it?
I was just screen scraping it off of I guess there is a large database out there that you usually have to pay access for. Okay, but you can do read only on it, and so it was just reading and copying it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. So this is Shit, what are those sites? There's a couple of sites in there that are specifically for that kind of data
There's a lot
to
of them.
get you to pay for it. Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
of them. Yeah, there's a lot
yeah, yeah.
of them. But it was kind of interesting. It was like, wow, this is really, really fucking cool. So, and I've been using it to write. It's like, like draft this for me. Blah. I was like, that's pretty good, but let me put my own spin on it. Kind of thing. So it works great.
Oh no, no, you're absolutely correct, and especially for things where, um, again, I think we talked about that. The software that you'll never buy again is the
Right.
$14 WordPerfect templates.
Right. Yeah.
You'll never buy those again.
Dude, it writes great resumes. I've actually thrown mine in there a couple. It's like rewrite my CV. It's like, whoa, this is way better than mine. So,
It's better. It's all like formatted correctly. It's like 'cause, that I don't I don't know about you, but like I've had to make adjustments. So like the bullet points are like slightly off kilter, and
oh yeah, all the time.
there's all this weird shit. So that
Fucking margins are all fucked up.
so
Yeah,
if you submit it somewhere and it just auto reads it, it totally fucks it up because you're like,
completely. Yeah, completely. Yeah. And I got it to just spit it out in text format. I was like, this is fucking great.
oh, there's one right there. It was like, do you want me to print this off as a PDF for you? He's like, could you?
Oh, really?
That'd be great. Yeah.
It's never happened for me to do that.
Well,
I'm using ChatGPT though.
ChatGPT will do that, but you have to go to the editor.
Oh.
That's how I got it because there's two things with that. If you're in the regular thing, it takes like a quarter of the text that the editor will. So you have to
Mm,
keep making trips,
mm,
right? Um, so you can get that all done at once, but you can also have it export as a file. That was where I was
mm.
having that problem with using that shitty Google Docs thing where I was having it basically lace
Yeah, it
two
sucks.
things
Yeah.
together. And then saying, okay, but I want you to bold this, and then it would bold this and turn it into, because it was plain text, it would put asterisks around it because that's how you do that in plain text.
Yeah.
But systems that aren't fucking dog shit will just put it in. It's like, and you can't, and that's the thing. You
Yeah.
can go to Copilot and say, you see these things that should clearly be bolded?
Right.
It'll say yes.
Yeah.
Like, can you fix that? It'll say no.
Yeah.
That thing,
I'll have to play with that one a little bit. I haven't used that too much. I was just fucking around with Grok the other day. Even just on my phone. And
Grok's fun to argue with.
I don't argue with it, but I do like it does a good job with data. And so I was
Yeah.
actually like
Yeah.
actually doing statistical analysis. I was writing code in Python.
Oh,
And
good.
I was like, that's fucking cool that you can do that. So, and it was actually pulling like from the correct sources and things like that. I was just kind of testing it, to see. Like, it's like, all right, man, if I were going to actually like ask this question the way that I want to ask it, where would I go? What data would I need? Where would I need to analyze? And then, okay, let me just see if it's like doing the same things that I would do. And it actually did way better. So, because it was like, oh, you got to think about this. It's like, right, I got to think about that. Can we run that test? So it's like, yes, you need to actually get this, this, and this. I was like, can you do that for me?
I'm with you. All right. So
So,
this is the other thing that I find myself fucking around with this thing is it has to be something that I am just ridiculously knowledgeable
yeah,
about, right? Where I can basically run it through a series of tests and ask it certain questions to see if I can lead it astray or get it to a certain conclusion that I want it to reach, right?
yeah. See, I'm not doing that.
But well,
Yeah,
that's sort of my that's sort of like my logic test is like, what do you know on this? What do you like?
yeah, yeah,
I get what you think you know, and I get what most people are going to ask you. But if I'm going to ask you a nuanced question about something like this,
yeah.
and I'm going to ask you about, say, like a literary piece or something like this,
How are you gonna
right?
get there?
Right? I know that there's an answer in there that you can get to, and you can only get there via this path.
Correct.
Can you get there?
Yeah,
And sometimes it can.
yeah.
Sometimes it's sometimes it goes a complete direction. It'll never. The thing I have a problem with I do notice a lot of these models try to bend over backwards to not tell you no.
They do. Yeah. Um, I wonder if that's different with the paid ones. Hmm. I don't know.
That may be. I mean, that's one of the things where if you
It's probably not designed to do that. So it's probably not designed to flat out like refuse. Like, no, I can't do that. You
well, no,
know.
not that it can't do that, but it doesn't it doesn't adequately say that you are incorrect.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You can't get an F in it. Yeah. 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 No, I. That is a problem.
Because yeah, if you give it one
That
of
is a
those things,
problem.
like if you asked it like, do we have gravity on this planet? Right? It can't just cough up. It's like, yeah, yeah,
Dummy.
obviously,
Yeah.
right?
Obviously. Yeah.
What it'll do is it'll say
Well, people have argued about this for years. Blah blah blah.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Oh, what is gravity? Yeah.
While the actual stories of Isaac Newton's apple
Have
are
you ever asked if the Earth is
interspersed.
flat? I might have
That's a good question.
to.
And that's the thing is like if you come at it like basically saying that the Earth is flat
Right.
and refusing to accept,
Eventually, it'll get you to a point in time where it concedes to you.
right,
Yeah. Okay.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a process, but see, that's a teachable skill. So um, not that many people are willing to learn now. Whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the when you ask about how to make an AI into my version of a Game Boy, that's it. It's
Right.
basically like playing logic games with this.
Yeah.
To me, this is that same kind of thing of, you had one of these two. Okay, so it was the Akinator that I used to play with on the website. I guess you had something like a Harry Potter thing where it was like, I can guess your character in 10
Oh
guesses or
yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the way that I look at this here is I'm playing with the tool to get
Yeah.
it to get it to see the way I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, this is kind of more fun than that like little peg game at Cracker Barrel, um,
On the backside of the placemat. Yeah.
right? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And I was doing that for like 45 minutes. After I got back from my run, I was just like cooling off.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there fucking arguing with Grok, and I'm like, I'm not really mad, but every now and then it does kick up something that makes me upset. I'm like, no, no,
No.
no,
No.
no, no.
Wrong. Wrong.
And then I try to it has called me out on the way that I do ask certain questions. Like every now and then, like if you ask it something like, "What is the best baseball team and why is it the Boston Red Sox?" Right? It'll, of course, now I've had to like get it to stop this. So I was like, stop talking to me like a fucking like 45-year-old like HR girl who's trying to talk in Zoomer speak. Right. I don't want you to jump in there and say like, whoa, weird vibe there, buddy. I'm like,
Don't you drop any fucking
don't.
emojis
You
on
you
me,
stop
man.
this. You
Yeah.
stop this. You talk to me like an adult. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it'll do that there. It's like vibe check, buddy. It's like I see what you're saying, and they do have a lot of things to like about them, but I don't know if you could say they're definitively the best.
I wonder where they're pulling that information from.
About who the best is?
Yeah, it's got to be from like tons and tons of fan boards and stuff like that.
Well, that was okay.
Yeah.
That was something where I did get into a fight with, where I was asking it to tell me who the best singer of a subgroup was,
Okay.
right? And it would keep giving me like I was like, how are you excluding this person?
Right.
Right? I was like, how are you excluding this person? I was like, this person has like an 8-octave range.
But then it would just bring that in the argument, wouldn't it?
Well,
It wouldn't tell you you're wrong.
it would say like, well, I see this, but we're basing this off of like fan reactions.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, but I asked you who the best technical singer was,
Yeah.
and it still couldn't
It
answer
just
that.
doesn't understand. Yeah.
It kept what it would do is it wouldn't judge a person's technical skills.
I don't
It
think
would
it has.
ask the internet who has the best technical
Yeah,
skills.
its ability to flex judgment is not.
Right.
I just don't think that's actually in the tech. So um, yeah, I mean, you can see that fairly clearly, no matter how complicated a question that you ask it.
Yeah.
That you can see that okay, this is a tool. It's going to do what I tell it to do. So I'm still in control here. So
No, you're correct. But what I cannot do is the thing that you want it to do is it's basically, again, with the way that it prioritizes what it looks at, right? I can't get it to basically watch 500 hours of film
No,
of Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and compare who's the better
no, you
runner,
can't do that.
right? It'll go to Sports Illustrated and it will
It,
look for people who've written about
yeah,
this,
it will. Yeah,
and it'll weigh it because they're experts, but
yeah,
it
but then
can't
it'll
make that
echo their
analysis. Yeah,
opinions and stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah, no, no, and I mean that's actually. I mean, and once you kind of realize that, the tech is not
yeah.
nearly as scary,
Not at all.
but it's
No.
also like, oh, okay, actually, this is really useful for a lot of things. As long as I'm still in control of that piece, okay, then the rest of this just makes me better at that. So,
You're correct.
yeah,
And especially on an academic level where you want to cite people's
it's
opinions on this.
fantastic. It's
Absolutely.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, when I used to write papers, like, my least favorite part was doing the lit review on them. It's like, okay, I got to find out all the shit that's ever been written on this one fucking thing.
Oh, for God's
So,
sake.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, lest I forget to cite somebody who's really important in this field and, completely missed that. Oops. So,
Well, maybe, hey, dude, maybe this is the kind of thing that actually leads to some form of uh, sort of like academic reform. And I mean that in terms of like, what are the things that we are doing just for the sake of tradition at this point? Are there certain things, vestiges that we're holding on to that don't have much value because this can do that thing? Like, okay, the best way I can say this here is so there's two eras of the Wheel of Fortune, right?
mhm.
All right. Now,
The big one.
well, okay, no, well, no, okay, but ultimately on this one, when you get to the final puzzle, right? Everybody, because of the commonalities of the leverage, they used to always choose RSTLNE,
Yeah.
right? And because they were so common, eventually they just gave them to you,
Yeah, yeah,
where you pick three additional and a
yeah.
vowel,
Yeah,
right? So if that's the case, and we know that this is sort of the situation with what the machine can
yeah.
do, will that actually reduce some of the things like, well, you don't have to go through these steps because they're all being done?
Yeah, not until the creditors change. So,
That,
I mean,
yeah,
it really does
yeah,
come
that's
down
a
to
good point.
that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'll happen after we're dead.
well, I mean, maybe, maybe not, but I mean, that doesn't mean that good learning doesn't take place in those places. So,
No, not at all. No, no.
just like academic literature is, I mean, it, the system as it's set up actually does kind of work. It just doesn't work fast enough for most people. I mean, like I guarantee you, there's 1,000 papers in the works right now about like, you know, okay, what do we do during the next pandemic? Okay,
Yes.
and it's going to take a decade before there's any kind of consensus on that shit. Because when you're a researcher in a field like that, okay, I mean, it takes a while to actually do those fights. It's not like you go to one conference and we all get together and like, okay, we're gonna have a pope and we're gonna break the church into two. It doesn't work like that, man. So you go there, you get your ass kicked, or everybody says, "Oh, you're brilliant,"
Right.
and then you go to the next year's concert or conference, and if you were brilliant in the last one, now you're the dick. Now you're the heel, and everybody's gonna try beat up on you.
Right.
That's how it works, man. And so the system of inquiry actually does have its own merits. Now, like I could see ChatGPT or any kind of like AI assisted, writing, like speeding up that process a little bit. But I mean, fundamentally, it does come down to you got to get the people in the room to hash it out. So there's a natural lag on that. Because like I mean, psychology has been going through an internal fight for 15 years now. So
No, it's not going anywhere either.
no, it's not going anywhere. That's
I
because
think that's just unresolvable.
well, they'll figure it out eventually. Like, but it's going to take one death for retirement at a time. So, you know, because like, especially if you've been around for like 30 fucking years and you've got, 1,000 citations under your belt. Okay, so you're King Kong in this pond. All right, so that means that everybody's got to gang up on you to kill you off. And it takes some
That
time,
is
man. It
true.
takes some
Yeah,
time.
that is true. Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Um, But I mean, it still moves forward. I mean, out of all the countries in the world, we are absolutely positively, hands down, the most prolific when it comes to actually publishing new research, okay, and implementing it and testing it and, fighting about it and getting back to it. And, I mean, I can go like, even some of the journals that I look at, I can find like if they publish 5 articles in a quarterly kind of thing, 2 of them are written by Chinese and nobody pays attention to those. Okay, because they're like, okay, fine, you did this great work with all these guys in this factory. I'm sure it was completely voluntary. And your data is 100% good. And
Right,
let me tell you
right.
what, I'm not going to find a single result that's not statistically significant in this paper. And so you do that enough, people are kind of like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, because we're not actually advancing anything. You're just getting the citation. It's got it, you know. And so that part of the system isn't necessarily broken. The velocity of the system is kind of broken. So just because it's so cumbersome and it takes like I mean even the article that I did it took what 6 months to get it reviewed. Come on, man. So got it. Okay.
No, I
So
got it. I mean, I suppose to that end, there is some merit to looking at, especially things that potentially change the institution. Um, if education is essentially the fundamentals are changing too quickly, right? And
yeah,
this is not that I'm saying that things should be artificially slowed. I do believe that people are working probably to the best of their ability at
sure.
the speeds that they can. But that doesn't mean that the slowness of it. Hey, we've talked about it here. This is the same thing with our big government. Um, this is why China's government is terrifying
Yeah,
versus
because
the
it can actually lock you in your fucking bedroom for a month.
correct.
And say, oh,
Correct.
we're just going to DoorDash everything to everybody. So
Will there be repercussions? Possibly. We'll deal with
possibly,
that later,
possibly.
and we'll say it was awesome,
And we'll
right?
have guns.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, no, I get that, man. And I mean, some of it, like some of the education, you don't have to worry about it too much because one of the things that's happening is like, so the snake's about to poop out a whole bunch of students. you know,
The snake, huh?
so the snake is like, so you had 2 big generations who went through the snake and really stretched it to the limits. All right, so
Okay.
and so now, like even like going over to the school over here that my daughter's going to go to is
Yeah.
pretty shocking. So
Why?
because it's got about half the students that are there when you were
Oh yeah. Yeah.
there, and it looks like a fucking palace now. You go into like the classrooms, they have like 15 desks in them. So there's classrooms that are just like, well, we just use that one for lab now.
The I was. It's
You
funny
know?
that you say this. Yeah. There was a there was something I was thinking about the other day. Something that specifically with this, where I was like the luxury of being able to disappear into the back of the classroom is disappearing.
That is disappearing. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, fortunately, you're not going to be fighting a 3 bell lunch schedule. So
Right. Well, okay. So let me. This is the shit that people. Man. Okay. It's global warming. This is another one of those things because I swear to you, like Patrick, remember like 1995, 2000, 2005. Okay, we're sitting around this time.
we're all doomed.
It's not just doomed. It's why are we doomed?
Right. Yeah. It's
Do you
our
remember
fault.
why?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the big concern was?
Wasn't it? It was overpopulation.
Overpopulation.
Yeah.
Overpopulation. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and they still don't even take population decline into account in some of the climate models out there, man. It's crazy. So, I mean, dude, I had a professor point that out almost 30 fucking years ago. So, because I remember going through my program, the IPCC 20 or 1998 is coming out. Oh my God, we're fucking doomed. And to be fair, okay, so here's what's happened with the IPCC over years. Okay, they always do a bad projection if they're going to be bad, and then they do well. We think it's going to do this, and then they do well. If technology comes around and saves our asses, it'll do this kind of thing.
Sure. Sure.
Every single year, it's come out. They've hit that middle case. They've hit that middle case. It never gets reported, okay? Because every time they do another report, they give a bad, And then they give a, well, if we do fucking green energy, this is what it'll look like.
Right.
And so they report on those two things and they never report on what's actually going on. So the scientists who do that shit actually kind of know their shit. Okay, but the problem is they've been using the same model for a long time. There's a scientific reason to do that. Okay, scientific theory, test, retest, right? So use the same model. But one of the things that was baked into the original model was no accounting for fucking population. So they just assumed that it was a straight line,
Right.
and it
Right.
ain't. So
Well, it's wild to hear. This is the thing. That idea is so baked into things that you can still see
it
this
is.
when people say it like,
Dude, my European students feel that way.
do they?
It's been absolutely beaten into them over the years.
Well,
So it's crazy. I went out to lunch with one like last week, and I was talking. Well, I don't know if I want to have kids. I was like, why? He's like, well, I mean, there's too many people. I was like, you live in fucking Sweden, so have like 8 kids, bro.
it's like,
They got free daycare. What are you doing?
it's like now I'm going to make you nervous. It's like
Yeah.
because the Muslims that moved into Sweden, they're having 8 kids. Now you don't want to do that, but
Yeah, but
but
so he and I actually talked about that. He said it's way fewer than they say in the news. He says you can go to certain places and you can find a bunch of them in one or two places, but he's like, in my town, no, there's none of that. So
well, the same. So this is my understanding is so the UK, Spain, France, Germany.
it's not the UK. It's like 3 cities in the UK.
Now it's the biggest city, of course. That's
That one's always been.
right. Now it's well, it hasn't always been, but we've changed what that means,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine, and that's totally okay. But what I will say here is there is still that prevailing thing. Like if you, it is a lot of people. They love to quote this verbatim. It's like, why are you so pro-abortion? And the answer is because the earth already has way too many mouths to feed already.
Yeah, I've heard
Like,
that.
I mean, that was something that I remember hearing in like 2000, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that was the
Well, that was a lot of people covering their pragmatic solution when really they didn't want to be bothered with having a child when they're 24.
well,
So,
that
which is
was
what it is. I mean, if you take a look, you can take a look at just about every Western country out there and even non-Western countries. When you see that population decline, it happens about 10 to 15 years after birth control is introduced to that country. So,
wide scale, I presume.
it's almost universal
Uh,
across the board.
yeah.
Yeah. When it becomes commercially available through non-abortive means, so you start to see that happen. And it's as simple as like people don't want to have kids when they're in their 20s. And if that wasn't a choice in the past, then okay, you had 3 when you were in your 20s because you're the most fertile. So,
Well, I think that's sort of the difficulty that we're stuck in right now. Here is okay. The hard part about the fact that, and we've talked about this here, where the lifespans have gone up, and this
a
is
lot,
absolutely
a
true.
lot.
What hasn't changed is that the fertility period for women has not increased, and we
No,
can't do anything
man,
about it.
I know so many girls like who are in their late 30s or 40s who just spent thousands of dollars
Thousands, yes.
on that stuff, and it's just like actually that ain't happening, man. It's crazy how difficult that is, because there's like a hard cap on science
Yeah,
there. Now, will that change? Maybe. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff in the medical field that's changing like crazy.
and
So
it's changing fast. And these are
it's
the
changing
things.
way fast, dude. I can't wait to see like in 5 years' time, how are we going to feel about Ozempic? You know,
Well, and
I mean, if it like fixes fucking heart disease in the United States,
okay.
you know,
Ozempic won't, but the things that they're working on absolutely could.
fair
The
enough.
things that you get from this, right? And again, this is what I said before. It's like you can't take a biological hard coded thing and say that the answer is willpower. I'm like, I get it. And there
Right.
is a certain degree that people can rein that in,
There is.
but you cannot have, it's like, you cannot have you can't have a scarcity design in a post scarcity world
Right.
without big time repercussions. And that's that thing where you're like, um, oh my God, look at these Americans. They're so fat. So I'm like, yes, they are fat. And you're right. And that is a problem. But you know what? The only thing is, we produce way more food than the rest of you.
A lot.
That's why it's less expensive here. And as it's getting less expensive for you, nation by nation where that's happening is like, well, look at how these rates have been climbing. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
look at where Great Britain is. Look at where France is. Look at where, the only places that don't have this, oddly enough, are Eastern Asian cultures.
And
And,
India.
well, I don't necessarily say that India is a post scarcity environment
I
yet.
don't know, man. I don't know that
Um,
much about it anymore. So I just know that every Indian that I've ever worked with was a diehard vegetarian.
yeah,
So, and they don't
yes,
get fat.
right.
So, and they live here where they could easily get fat.
I've met fat Indians. I've
Yeah.
met very fat
I have
Indians.
not, but to be fair, I've only met a couple. So now the ones that I know them pretty well. So it's just one of those things where it's like, no, I don't put that much food in my mouth. You know, it's like,
Well, and this is that's sort of that's the shit that changes here too,
sure.
right? And
Yeah, I don't know if their kids are that way. Who knows?
that's what
So,
I. So all right. Let me put it this way. You mentioned specifically you were talking about that second generation thing,
oh
right?
yeah,
Where that second generation sort of takes on the integration into society thing
with gusto.
with gusto.
With
And
gusto.
so when the students I tutored were fat Indian kids.
Oh yeah,
Fat and you see their parents, right? And it's not like these people you come in there, you're like, all right, well, you're not all rail thin. You all have that weird like skinny arms, skinny torso, belly,
oh
skinny
yeah,
legs, right? Which is that's perfectly man shaped, right?
sure.
It's not that thing where like this is America. You can't like make a human being without putting in some kind of hyperbole where it's like, well, what do you look like? Well, you're the huge, or you're perfectly V-shaped, or you're jacked, or you're like chubby, or you're 600 pounds.
Yeah,
We're on the leading edge of whatever big body size is, anywhere, right? But then you look at it, it's like, oh, this is a perfectly healthy man shape and has been for 6,000 years,
yeah.
right?
See, and that's funny, man. I mean, like I've noticed this. I was at the yacht club the other night, and a bunch of guys were there.
Yeah.
That there were two of them in particular, and these guys used to be hardcore gym rats. And so they're one of them's probably about 10 years older than I am, and he's done with it, man. You can tell. He's just
By choice?
I don't
Or
know if it's by choice or
uh,
by injury or something like that,
yeah.
but he's eating like he still does it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like I've seen a lot of army guys do that too.
Yeah.
So over the years, and like one of them, I mean, God, that dude got huge, man.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, you can't be consuming 4,000 fucking calories a day if you're sitting there at a desk all day,
That's correct.
and then coming over here and having 5 beers a night.
That's also correct.
Yeah, I know. And it's just like, okay, you got to find a little bit of balance there, man. And I think a lot of people, they compensate with it. Oh, I'm going to run, and it's like, what are you going to do when you're 55, bro? So, and you can't do that no more because your ankles are fucked. So,
Well, Patrick,
yeah, things and habits, man.
there's two. You remember when I gave you that thing that unfortunately did not work on your child's teeth, where I said you don't have to floss all your teeth?
Just the ones you want to keep.
Okay. Now that worked on me.
That
but
did
it
not
didn't
work on my
them.
child.
The same thing goes. A couple other bits of advice I was given on that was number one,
Mhm.
you can't outrun a bad diet.
Oh, okay. I've heard that one too.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good.
And the other one is that physical fitness begins in the kitchen.
Yeah, that one's true too. Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's some truth to this. And this is the same dudes. Like, a lot of the dudes I knew that got the fattest were dudes that played football in high school.
Yeah.
And
They don't cook their own meals.
well, they didn't keep playing football after high
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean they didn't eat 18 egg omelets and shit. It's like,
Well, yeah, you don't adjust your appetite. Man.
right.
So,
Because that again, that's partially not your fault because you have that stretchy stomach for a reason, and
Yeah.
if you push it out that far,
yeah.
right, because you need an 18 egg omelet to go ahead and lift for 2 hours, right? It is what it
Yeah.
is. Once you stretch it out, it's like, okay, well, I want this much food in there,
Right.
right? And the same thing is once the capacity, like it will naturally shrink,
It will.
but it's horrible to go through.
Well, I mean, it depends on your hunger tolerance. So too, I mean that's different too
There's
for
some
certain
genetic
people.
variance, yeah,
There
yeah.
definitely some genetic variance in there when it comes to that. So, but yeah, I mean, like I mean, so I've been watching Normie TV lately, and those fucking Wegovy and Ozempic ads are fucking
Oh, they're
everywhere.
everywhere. You know, because it work.
I guess,
Yeah.
man, I don't know anybody who's on it, so, but
You
but
want it? I can get it for you.
I don't want it,
Okay.
man. So no, I don't need it just quite yet. I know what my problem. My problem is beer. I've identified it. The question is if I can do anything about
Right. That's the.
it.
It sort of was. That was my Uncle Jay's solution to smoking. Yeah. Even though he smoked like a chin, he was like, "Do patches work?" He's like, "Yeah, if you put them over your mouth."
Yeah,
That's kind of the
that is
beer
kind of the
solution.
thing, man. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, still at the same point in time, I mean, it's going to be curious to see like how fat is America going to be in 10 years. So
That's a great
my
question.
guess is probably it's going to get better. I mean, and he was even watching like some of the stuff that RFKJ was doing today.
You know,
So
he's dead on with some of that
with the
stuff.
school lunch thing, that's
Yes,
fucking totally dead on, man.
yes, yes.
I mean, you got to get Smithfield and Ore-Ida out of the schools, and then next thing you know, it's like,
Smithfield.
um, and then we'll see. And I even like today I saw that I don't know if this is official or not, but Donald Trump was tweeting out that they're going to do Coke with sugar again. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, God, he's been weird the last couple of days, dude. What's going on with him?
Are you talking about the
I
Epstein
am
stuff?
talking about the Epstein stuff, man.
See, I said it was a big deal. You said it wasn't a big deal. I think it's a big deal.
I I mean, it's a big deal if there's actually something there. So,
All right, here's my problem with this.
okay.
Okay, and it's not just with him. All right, now I do have a problem with this where, yes, he sort of campaigned on, yeah, we're going to release this day one. Well, day one happened, nothing fucking came out. Okay, now
I
there
already
was
said
that.
the same thing about JFK. So that stuff came out and it was like, wait a minute, we already know all this shit. Except for some
Well,
unredacted
yeah,
stuff. And
that
it's
that
like,
was yeah. But I just don't think there was that much in that file to release that hadn't been like found out.
yeah, and I think that Epstein is kind of the same way. But
Well, that's the problem is when Ghislaine Maxwell is saying, I will testify in front of
yeah,
Congress,
bring her down.
right?
Yeah.
Because basically, yeah, and she does have a point, is I've been convicted with no victims.
Um, yeah.
And that's part of it. So, when they've run the metadata on that video, it's like it's not just a minute that's missing, and this
I
is
did see
not.
that. It said it was 3 minutes.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is correct. Look, there's suspicious stuff in there when Roe kind of put out the vote to say you
Oh,
must
I
put this
saw
up.
that it only like lost by one vote, man. I think if you put that up again, it's not going to stand. So
And Republicans voted to block it. So when you're
I don't
asking
understand that.
who's on the list, well, I'm telling you who's on the list. These guys are on the list.
Donald Trump?
No,
Oh,
Donald Trump straight up said he's like, anything that's credible, go ahead and release it. Now, I also won't say like the smart thing here
I
is
don't
not
know
to
if I
say like
believe.
the smart thing to say is not why are you guys still talking about this? I thought I told you all this wasn't a
He's
big
been
deal.
doing that all
It's
weekend,
like, what are
man.
you doing?
Yeah, I know. So I don't know. He just seems pissed. So
He is pissed, but this is not going to go away. Now, there's also a component to this where, again, you look at this from the other side. I'm like, all right, so the point that a lot of people have been making, and I think they're absolutely right, is if Donald Trump was on that list, he would have been outed last
yeah, Clearly.
last goddamn administration.
Well, and the same thing would be true of Republicans. If any of the Republicans in Congress were on that fucking list, they would have totally outed them during that time because they were fighting for the House.
Exactly.
So, like, that's my question is like, okay, so, all right, so, like, I don't know if he had a list or if the FBI's put together a list or if Ghislaine Maxwell had a list or something, but you put that list out, I don't think there's going to be any fucking surprises on it. So, if that's the case, what do you do if you're in his job right now? So, because you release it, everybody's going to be like, where's the real fucking list?
There's all right.
So that's where I think he's in a bad spot, man. And I mean, just giving it oxygen is actually like making it worse, man. So,
I mean, I say, look, I would release everything that you have.
dude, if Chuck Schumer was on a fucking list, he'd release it today. So, so he's obviously not on the list. Yeah.
Again, the other problem, and this is the kind of thing that you could admit to, or maybe they tried to do this earlier on,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that I would have said there is like, look, so this, let me tell you the hands that have been going through this here before we got to it. So we're going to try to salvage every last thing that we can, but we have no idea what is still here and what is not. And
Oh, as far as the evidence
yes,
goes?
I was like, I don't know who did what to what. We have been
Yeah.
trying to purge people that we find doing this shit, but what we have, we're going to show you, right? That would have been a fine answer, because
Yeah, but I mean,
even
some of it he can't. I mean, you can't release videotapes with underage girls on them.
you can redact it.
I guess, man.
No,
But
no,
if
no.
there's tens of thousands of them, come on, man.
Well, no. But I mean, you can basically you can blur out the things that aren't meant to be. Hey, this is the same stuff that came out with the R. Kelly tapes. So
Yeah, and I didn't really watch that very carefully, man. But,
oh, the Diddy thing that was different. But
the Diddy thing. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't watch that. You're right, though. They did do that for the R. Kelly.
they did, and they just kind of
Yeah.
blacked it out and kept that person's identity a secret. So as you do the same thing, but yeah, that's the thing is you come out there and say like, this has been through a ton of hands. We are trying to recover everything that we can. We don't know what's still here. We don't know what's gone, but what we have, we're going to show it to you, right? That's the correct answer.
Yeah, they might do that.
And even if you're doing this in a bullshit way where you're trying to decide how can we cover for people that we like and not, at least that's a good answer that people can get down with. And if they question it, that's okay. You say, you're right to question it because
Yeah.
I don't know what was here, right?
Yeah,
But this is the wrong fucking way to answer this
this is
question.
the wrong way to do this, man. So, yeah, I think they all made it worse over the course of the weekend.
Jesus.
So, because like I mean, I just don't think there's that many people on the list who are surprised. There's just no way that you can have something like that floating around since 2009 and not have someone weaponize it at this point in time.
Exactly.
I mean, they're talking about like current congressmen. Fucking half of them weren't even in Congress when that guy was arrested. So, I mean, the same thing's true. We've gone through what? Fucking 4 or 5 FBI directors since then.
Right.
One of them would have used it as a fucking weapon.
Absolutely.
But we haven't. And I don't think that's because, like, oh my God, so many people are implicated that if we kick out this and, like, the whole fucking federal government's going to collapse, that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen.
No, that's not going to happen. And, but the same thing's true. It's like, all right, so we know that Bill Gates was there. We know that Bill Clinton was there. Who's the big fish that we don't know about?
That's a good question.
I don't think there is one. So, because, like, I can't think of anybody who would be powerful enough. Like, fucking Elon, is he on the list? So, I mean, I don't know, man. If Donald Trump's not on the list, it doesn't really fucking matter who else is on the list, because like, who's powerful enough, like, right now to actually,
Well,
I mean,
okay.
maybe you have a Supreme Court justice. Is Clarence Thomas on the fucking list? I don't know.
Could be. Well, again, and this is, but here's the thing: is let's say that Clarence Thomas is on the list. Guess what? Guess who gets to nominate the new Supreme Court justice?
Donald Trump.
Correct.
Yeah.
When
I don't know, man. That's like level of 3D chess that I just.
But no. I'm not saying that there's no 3D chess.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying there is, what I can promise you is, if I go back to the petty shit that went on, in 2016 and onward, right? Well, actually,
Yeah.
okay, especially 2020. Let me put it there, when they basically ran Donald Trump through the most petty shit that they could find
Yeah.
to get anything to stick. If they had anything
They
good,
would have used it.
absolutely
Totally would have
they
used it. And likewise, if there was anything good on that would have actually poked a hole in Joe Biden, at that point in time. Donald Trump would have released that thing fucking like 2 days after he actually got in it. So that's why I just don't think there's actually that much interest. The other thing is like nobody's telling like there's like two questions that I really I think if someone could answer these two questions for me, then I'd be willing to change my mind on
Okay.
this quite
Okay.
a bit. It was like number one, how the fuck did that motherfucker get so rich? Okay, so if someone can actually just lay that out, all right, but nobody's been able to do that. All
Right.
right. So there's
Right.
all these stories about, oh, he was getting paid by the Mossad, blah blah blah. It's like I don't buy any of those. Okay, just because there's way better ways to do that than to have a fucking honey trap in the Bahamas. Come on. So, I mean, talking about the people who distributed pagers,
This is
they're a little bit more clever than that. But
there's
anyway,
there's a little bit of like, look, I understand that you all have the same kind of last name here,
yeah, yeah,
but that doesn't mean that you're all in the same club.
correct.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then there's like a stint in time there where he and whoever the guy, the Victoria's Secret guy who killed himself,
Yeah.
who's like the other big name on the list, but he did. So, whatever. Kind of thing is like, all right, so they were making a lot of money together. How are they fucking doing this? And so like part of me smells Ponzi scheme here. So, because Bernie Madoff got rich as fuck, and then eventually had to face his investors at some point in time. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't have to do that.
No. Well, actually, you could argue that maybe he faced his investors in those 3 missing minutes.
That well, yeah, either that or he's got them on tape somewhere, so they're not going to come knocking for their investment anytime soon.
Right.
And I think that just makes like a little bit more. So nobody's been able to answer those questions. The other one is how many fucking victims are there? Okay, so
We don't know.
we got to know that because here's my fear about this is that there's like 10 that are fucking 16-year-old girls, and there's 50 or 150 or 250 who are 22 who sold themselves at 16. Which wouldn't be illegal at that point in time.
No, not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. And this is again, this is when people used to make the argument. Pat, this is where I'm starting to categorize this thing. Here is, um, there used to be this thing. I mean, they still put it in movies. I mean, it's the basis of fucking like MIB is that whole thing where if you found out that there were aliens on this planet, the whole world's system would fall
I
apart.
don't think
You
that
know
would
what?
happen.
You know what? That's the thing is if this were 1931, maybe,
Maybe.
but it's not
It's not
1931.
1931.
These
Man.
ideas have been basically normalized into society long enough here that
Sure, by Hollywood, if not anybody else.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
to the
mean,
to the point where when this list comes out and there are big people on it, like look, the Diddy thing, when that came and went, and it looks like
I thought he was going away forever.
they can give him some serious years, but that's if they give him the max sentence.
Yeah.
On some shit here, they won't. There's a chance he doesn't go to jail at all.
Well, and it
And
turned out a lot of the allegations against him were fucking fake too. So it's just
well,
people like coming out of the woodwork say, "Hey, man, you hit this guy up. Did you spend a weekend at his place? Yeah, okay."
there's that.
That
I
came
mean,
up, man, and it was like that was the one thing that I saw from that. I was like, "Oh fuck, tell me the whole thing's not like that." And it wasn't, but
no,
I mean that just muddies the water though, and there's some of that going
yeah,
on with Epstein too. But then there's like a whole bunch of guys that like I don't know, man. You know, See, that's the other thing is this thing's been going on for fucking almost 20 years now. So,
exactly.
and it's like, okay, so if you visit the island after 2009,
Okay, okay,
why were come on, man. Like after he got convicted and got that sweetheart deal,
yes.
you know, by the guy who became Trump's fucking labor secretary, come on, man. So, and it's like, all right, so if yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's like the JFK thing all over again. It's just one of those things where it's like there's an obvious answer here, okay? But nobody wants to talk about that answer because it's way more fun to actually think that we got this one last Jenga piece that if we take it out, the whole fucking federal government
Oh yeah, yeah,
collapses.
yeah.
It's like, dude, guys, I mean, you're not talking about that many people, okay? I mean, So if there's 100 guys on, fine. There's 100 guys on the list. Cool. All right. So that doesn't mean that we're going to melt down the fucking DoD for parts next week.
No, no, no. And again, if it's again, I don't know. That's the thing. I can't even guess.
I don't
But
know.
what I can tell you is there's nothing on there that would shock me. But I do think it's the kind of thing that if it comes out, then yes, this is the kind of stuff that I hope leads to prosecutions. And that's
Well, it possibly will if there's actually illegal activity taking place, which means you have to find the fucking victims. So, and it seems like nobody's doing that, man. And it's like, come on, man. If there's 1,000 victims out there, you got to be able to find 10. You
but
know?
that's the argument is that evidently that's been there, but
I I have
you
no
would be
idea.
using that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing. Is
I have
look,
no
man,
idea.
if you break it down here, say like the evidence that comes out, like if this were just a person that made these accusations just in
Right.
normal life, it would be investigated more than this, which makes me wonder, like
Yeah.
this one, like if this is just something that happened down the street or in a school or something like that, it would
If
be
it
given
happened in
more
school, yeah,
investigation
fuck
than
yeah.
this, right?
So yeah, if you found a teenage sex ring going on in a high school in America,
Absolutely,
it'd be
yeah,
all over the page. Well, but it'd only be on the page for a week. It wouldn't be on the pages for
absolutely,
fucking
right.
20 years.
And this is sort of
So
like
this one's just got too many like, oh my God, who can we get with this kind of thing going on? That it's like, all right, fine. It's your Make-A-Wish day. Who do you want to burn down? Maybe he's on the list. Yay.
well, let me put it to you:
So,
if you found out tomorrow,
uh-huh.
if they put out the paperwork and said like, you know what, actually the moon landing was fake.
Okay, show me your math.
Well, no, if they have the data, if they have like the paperwork that says this is how it was done,
Yep.
this is who signed off on it here,
Yeah.
this is everything like this. All right,
Okay. Yeah. All right. I
would
guess it was fake.
would it change your world perspective at all?
If all of them were fake, it might.
Well, if the first one was fake,
Probably a little bit.
I'd be disappointed.
I'd be disappointed that the fucking communists were right. 'Cause that's where that rumor came from. You know that, right?
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
But,
no, it makes sense now that you think about it. So,
all I
yeah.
can tell you is that the thing of fucking people love to quote this shit like, yeah, but look at all of these firsts that the Soviets did in the space or something. They didn't do anything first.
First dog in space.
Did it
It's like,
live?
yes. It's just the natural follow-up question that you ask, and people are like, oh, well, the next one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you look at the famous program of the things like, well, they had the first thing that reached the moon. Like, no, that's the first thing that crashed into
Into
the
the
moon.
moon. Yeah, they managed to hit it.
They hit it.
They hit it.
And when you look at the other ones, you say like, wait, this is number 9. What happened to 1 through 8? They missed. They missed the biggest thing in the sky
Biggest
by a
closest thing to Earth.
significant
Yeah.
margin, and
Yeah.
you whiffed it, right? And that's the thing is like, yeah, when we go to the other things that we can measure, and you look at the other things of the United States space program, I'm like, all right, got
Yeah,
it.
pretty awesome.
I mean, there's shit in the space program that you say like, well, are you cool that it was chock full of Nazis already in the first place? Like,
Well, I had like 3, but yeah. So,
a lot of people say it shouldn't have had any,
yeah, I know.
right? So
Yeah.
there's that argument.
But we kind of like turned a blind eye to that one.
But this, I mean, that's
But see,
the
that's
point.
one of the things that that happens in the United States, and people are kind of like, it's not like this. Oh my God, let's fucking undo America, because of that. Which is what like anybody from overseas on Twitter makes an argument. Well,
Oh,
you
yeah.
did this, so you should just fucking sell out right now, kind of thing. Ship all your tanks over to it. Okay, got it. You're right. Let's just delete America because of that.
And let's delete America. I mean, they have that the famous one they show right now is that little cartoon picture of like, oh look, a child is crying. I guess we better burn the Constitution.
Right. Yeah.
But that's the same
I've
thing.
seen that.
Yeah, it's that exact same thing where you say like the one. I don't even want to say this was even an argument. I just kind of like threw it out there, and I didn't really get a response from the person that said it. Somebody made the dumbass comment. You've seen it. You've seen it before. You'll see it again. Somebody made the comment to something I said that. What is the exact phrase? It's It's basically it's the whole no one is illegal on stolen land.
Oh yeah,
You've seen it before,
I've definitely seen that.
right? So that's where I said, okay, like just do me a favor, okay? I want you to find me the name and the paperwork
Yeah,
of the man that France
yeah,
belongs to,
yeah. We
the
need to
original Frenchman.
the original France. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, can you find me his name and
Find me
paperwork?
France Prime. Yeah,
Can you find him for
yeah,
me? Because if that's the case, yeah, that's fine. He gets it all. This
yeah.
all belonged to someone else.
Fucking George Carlin made that point 40 years ago.
Jesus
Come on,
Christ.
man. Just get over it. See, and that's the stuff that it's good that most of that's like fucking dude, that is rapidly disappearing over the ass end of our horizon. So
Well, this is the thing that they keep polling here is they keep trying to show the like, look at these crying kids. Look at the 300 people taking off of this pot farm and the 14 underage children that were working on it.
yeah.
And the amazing thing
That was
is,
run by the cartel anyway.
and this is the stuff where they keep trying to show this and like, aren't you guys crying? And then they keep polling and say like, well, actually no, 89% of
Mm.
people want these people out.
Donald Trump right now is the most popular president in history amongst his party. So that came out just a couple days ago. He actually beat Reagan in terms of his popularity within the Republican Party. It's at like 94%. It's bananas. Yeah, he beat Reagan. Reagan was like mid 80s. Because there are even people in Reagan like land who are like, fucking John Birch Society guys. So, you know,
Well, all right. There's a couple of people I can absolutely believe in the Reagan camp where it's like,
I can't believe he got divorced.
the divorce thing and the other part of like, well, you do realize with that thing that you signed for all that amnesty, you just gave California away.
Yeah, that was later in his presidency, though, too, man. I mean, it's just funny. I mean, like there's a true king, in terms of like Republican popularity out there right now, and it's because of things like that, okay? And
Yes,
it's like this whole week he's been banging on the Fed. People love hearing that, and then like the Epstein thing is just like it's like, dude, just fucking stop talking about it. Just farm that shit out to somebody else. Okay. Because you're in a moment right now where, I mean, you just got this humongous spending that you made it so that Social Security, my mom's taxes just got infinitely better thanks to you. Okay. Next year. And then the other thing that like no tips. Okay. That's actually a really tiny amount of tax, but that really makes a lot of difference for people who are trying to make ends meet,
that's correct.
because those people work for tips. And so, like, there's just a whole bunch of like, it's just win, 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 across the board, and then there's still people out there who, like, yeah, it's like a baby is crying. Let's tear up the Constitution and fucking hang Donald Trump. It's like, you guys don't get it, man. You just don't even remotely get it right now. So, and I mean, that's it. I mean, okay, so even if Powell doesn't step down, okay, his term is out next year. Okay, Donald Trump's going to get a victory right there because whoever he plugs in there is going to immediately lower rates and make everybody's mortgage fucking cheaper. Okay, I mean, come on, dude. So, okay, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, and that is sort of, you say like, all right, so gotcha. What does the other side have to offer right now?
Nothing. They have nothing. They have this one guy in New York who I do have to give some credit for. He is good on the TikTok. Okay, and he's probably going to win, but that doesn't mean they're going to socialize all the bodegas in the Bronx.
Right.
Okay, I mean, come on, man. And everybody's like hoping that, oh my God, we're going to move to New York City. It's like, the fuck you are. You complaining about your mortgage in Kansas? Good fucking luck with that, man. So, and then like everything else on the Democrat, I mean, watching Jeffries the other day is just, it's absolute.
This guy is an
It's,
ass clown.
I think he looks so helpless every time. I mean, like, whatever, there's got to be somebody like, like tattooing his lines on the back of his palm, and it's just got like, and Chuck Schumer's MIA. Haven't seen him in weeks. I mean,
He showed up. He showed up
It's fine, man. He's one of the
Yeah,
harmless Democrats. I don't care. He's a Senate minority leader. It doesn't even matter, in a lot of things. So I mean, they still got the bill punched through, because like his votes get negated by those of fucking Fetterman right now. So
right,
and then on top of that, I
right.
mean, you just look at like some of these guys jockeying for, like, because they have to start gearing up for 2028. I know it
Correct.
sounds really early,
No, no,
but
no. This you
they
have
have
to.
to figure that out by the midterms.
Yep.
Okay, like who are going to be our guys? Gavin Newsom is out there getting owned by just about every fucking person who doesn't want to fucking suck his dick, on his podcast. Like every time he shows up to something, so like I mean, even nobody guys on YouTube are owning him, here and there. And the same thing's true with like, some of you are like Jared Polis, as much as I love him, he did a couple videos last week. They were so cringeworthy.
Just
So it was just like,
y'all
bro,
don't get it.
it's
This
like you
is
don't get it. And it's like, I love you, man. You're a great governor. I think you'd be a fine president, but you ain't gonna get anywhere near it with that. So,
no.
come on, man.
This is sort of very, very, very Tim Walz kind of
And you talk
presentation.
about a guy who's so far over the sunset now,
Jesus
it's not even
Christ.
hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, his whole like fucking not as just his governorship, but his political career is wreckage on the bottom of the ocean of 2024. So, and nobody's gonna raise that fucking ship. So, Same thing with Kamala Harris, man. She keeps threatening to like be relevant again. And even the Democrats now are like, "Nah, you're." See, this is the thing: is Blue Party the bus is driven over the horizon, and we don't know when we're going to see it again. Okay, because it's going towards New York. All right, and that fucking shit show, which will take 2 years of crime waves for everybody to see what's going on with that, man. You show up there, what's the first thing that you're going to do? You're going to tell the NYPD to go out there and start cracking skulls? So are you going to let those people fucking take over Central Park? Okay, what's it going to be? Those are both very bad options for you, sir. So he's got no opposition, man. I was watching Eric Adams the other day. That guy is so fucking cooked. It's hilarious. So he is so cooked. I mean, because sure enough, what is the first question he gets asked? He's like, "Did you talk to Donald today?"
I know.
So yeah,
The answer is actually like, yes, I did. Thank you. But he can't do
he
that.
can't do it,
He
man.
can't
He
do
can't
that.
do it. Yeah, and now, and see, here's the hilarious thing: is Mario Cuomo is going to get in that race. He's going to split the votes. You're going to have some people who never vote for a Cuomo, but can't vote for a socialist, so they get to vote for the cooked former NYPD commissioner. So who has no political future thanks to the fact that Donald Trump pardoned him, which is hilarious. So, because he probably thought that was a gift at the time, not realizing it was like, yeah, it's a gift. I'm going to give you this fucking lead weight, that we're going to hang around your neck. And then, you know what? We're going to push you out this boat. So, and then Cuomo's going to take like this middle 30%, and that other dude's just going to walk right into it. And the Democrats are going to have a hero that the rest of the country are going to look at and be like, wait a minute, we've just had, what, 12 years of New York braggadocio in the White House? Fuck you guys. I guarantee you, man. Next fucking president's coming from like Kansas or something, man. So,
I wouldn't say. I'm telling. Well, all right.
well, no, it'll probably be JD
I'm gonna say,
Vance.
yeah. So that's
Well,
kind
he's
of.
got 3 years to fuck something up, man. So that's the thing that I worry about.
I got you. But the problem here is, I've been looking for misplays out of that guy, and he's smarter than I give him credit
He's way
for.
smarter.
Anybody can fuck things up here, but I think honestly, there's a lot of people that have a genuinely like they see his face now. They see a dude who didn't get mad,
No.
that a dude that leaned into this fact, like, look at what everybody does to my face on these memes,
Yeah.
and he just enjoyed it.
Yeah, he
Right?
likes it.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. Is
Yeah.
there's like a certain warmness where like I think people genuinely like the guy.
Everybody that I know that has talked to him, and he's just in podcast to stand, but these are guys that I trust. They like him. So they say,
Yeah,
yeah, he's a funny, happy-go-lucky, middle-aged dad bod kind of guy,
yeah, yeah.
who like he's going to walk right into it next time because the Democrats blue bus has gone over the horizon, and we will not see it again for several years. So, you know,
You guys pick the drivers, man. That's the thing.
that's
Is
the
you
problem.
guys,
Yeah. But hey, whatever, man.
you let that side of your party pick the drivers. You said these are going to be the ones that represent us,
Yeah.
right? And now when it turns out that people are overwhelmingly not, if I mean the walk back of Newsom here, it's like, actually now that I have a
Oh,
9-year-old
don't.
son, now that I have a 9-year-old son, now I'm starting to think that transitioning children isn't a great
It isn't
idea.
a great idea.
Like,
You know?
really? Well,
Really?
what about all those other kids that you said it was okay
And they
to?
already did that.
Right.
Yeah.
But now because it's yours,
Not so
now
much.
it's a problem?
Right. Well, I didn't really understand the issue. It's like, yeah.
You never do. Every time that you ask the question, right? That dude I don't know how he's gotten away with this for so long, where anything you ask him, it's like, what's for lunch this Thursday?
Who is this?
Newsom. He
Oh,
always gives that like throat clearing 9-minute preamble before he even gets into saying a single
I don't
word.
even watch him
Like,
that much, man.
Jesus Christ, man.
No, well, and he's from California, so he
Of
has
course.
no hope. No
Right.
hope.
So
None.
that's where Kamala Harris is too. It's
He
like,
has no hope.
fuck off.
You're not going to do two in a row. So, and then the same thing is true. I mean, like whoever goes up. I mean, honestly, I bet you AOC runs. Okay,
I'm thinking she's going to.
she might as well. She might as well get it out there because you remember that Richard Nixon lost an election before he became president. That's what actually put him on the stage, and it puts you right in the middle of the conversation every time the argument comes up again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the Democrats never had that tradition. It was always my turn, kind of thing. But that's something that's been long standing. I mean, fucking like, I mean, maybe not so much the primaries because what Joe Biden ran like what three fucking times, you know.
Yeah, that's
But you'd
true.
always kind of have your chosen, person who's going to make it in there, at one point in time, especially once you establish the dynasty. Whereas Republicans, it was a fist fight every single time, yeah. So, I mean, John McCain, he ran three times. So, just barely got beat by George W. Bush in 2000, and he probably would have been president if he had gotten that nomination.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe they'll try it. Who knows? It doesn't matter though, man, because like everything's going to be in such a better spot in the next couple of years anyway. So the economy is doing great. Flatline on inflation. They were talking about it a little bit this week, but if you look at core, it's fantastic. So, unemployment's like record lows. So,
Well, and also, and we've talked about this before, the generation that's hurting the most are the ones that talk about it, and they're right, right?
yeah,
You're talking about the people who are
they're in
the ones.
line to get a fucking avalanche of money
Well,
in the
that was
next
the other
20
thing.
years.
Is the
Yeah,
the greatest generational transfer of wealth
is about
is
to start.
it's happening just right now.
Yeah,
Like it's starting right
yeah,
now
yeah, yeah.
because the earliest people, like the youngest people in that generation, are now like 70.
Yeah, the youngest people in the boomer generation. Yeah,
So it would be
they're in their
46. What?
70s.
Yeah, so it's
I don't know, man.
46 to
So,
48, somewhere in there. So
well,
it's
those would be the oldest. Those are
right,
the
right,
oldest.
and it closes off at what I would say like
They try and cut it like 64 or something like
okay,
that.
okay. So somebody born in 64 right now is how old?
62? Yeah, 61?
Right, right. That's the youngest, right?
Yeah.
You and I have been watching this here because this is the thing that
It's
sucked
coming,
us.
man. It's coming.
The best way that you can tell um, are all the movie stars that you liked starting to drop off? The
Oh,
answer is
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
no.
that goes with all those people in
Some
that
of them
same
are so
room.
fucking wrinkly. Yeah, it's terrible. I
Yeah.
mean, Clint Eastwood, he's what, like 94? Yeah, something.
No. Clint Eastwood looks like jerky at this point. And that's and he's supposed to.
He's supposed to.
He's supposed to.
Yeah,
But
he's
yeah,
supposed
all
to.
right, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Doesn't matter.
All right.
All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.